With the farm noticeably wounded after 2012's bout with the HD, my list of targets is limited. I'm tying my hopes to a buck we nicknamed Big Junior. I started paying attention to this deer when he was a 3-year-old in 2012. Though I had many trail camera pictures of him, I first laid eyes on the buck an hour before sunset on a bitterly cold, late December evening. It was the same evening that I filled my remaining tag with an old buck I'd been hunting for 3 years. I had a gut feeling this young buck was going to blow up into something special, and he did. I found Big Junior again in the same place in 2013. All the information I had on this buck was contained in several hundred nighttime trail camera photos. He seemed to hate the sun. By 2014, Big Junior was starting to show cracks in his armor. Early in September, I started getting daylight trail camera photos of the deer and saw him 3 times while hunting, twice in November and once in early December. Though I hunted often and carefully within the buck's proven range, I never saw him again in 2014. The first step in my hunt for the buck this season is setting the trap, and Big and Beastie is the bait. At the same time that I'm putting together my plan for Big Junior, John Lewis is creating his own killing ground, a small microplot on the 40-acre property he and Eric scouted the previous winter.
Well, it's the middle of August and we're back here at a spot that we sprayed a few weeks ago on this piece of property that we're going to be hunting this fall. We're going to be putting it into autumn quick plot, and as you can see behind me, we only sprayed this a few days ago, but we hit it really hard with Roundup. And our plan for this is it's about 1/4 of an acre, and we have a river that runs right back over my right shoulder. This spot's gonna set up perfectly for a west wind. We're gonna put a stand in that tree. We got a lot of trails running north and south along right through here. We got a fence right here, opening right here, and everything to my south is all bedding. So in theory, on a west wind, we'll be able to come down this creek, hop right in this stand, and the banks are so steep that the deer can't cross it. We'll blow west wind back over the creek, and a buck should want to cruise this downwind side of all these bedding areas. We're going to be poor man style in this. We don't even have a weed whacker, so we got a little sickle. We're going to knock all this brush down real quick, bring in a little hand tiller, get it ripped up, and we'll have some autumn quick plot in the ground. And come October, when everything else is starting to die, we're going to have a nice green plot to hunt over. Our hard work is paying off, and 2 weeks later the autumn quick plot is coming up nicely. With the muddy stands firmly in place, we came back a week later to spray the plot with Deer Grow plot boost and check cameras. Two familiar faces are all over the trail cameras, so we decided to give these target bucks names. The 10-pointer we called Dennis, and the 9-point Joey. Unfortunately though, the buck we were really hoping to get on camera again was a no-show. Regardless, we stick with the naming theme and call him Mr. Wilson. It's a waiting game now. Monitor trail cameras and learn as much as we can.
Every sighting that I got of Big Junior during that season came from my 10-foot redneck blind. I put these things in locations where it would be very difficult to hunt from a tree stand. Either the wind swirls too much, or the trees are too small and it'd be too easy for the deer to see me. And that's definitely the case in this situation. It's a marginal area made huntable by using these redneck blinds.
The Muddy Outfitter has a leveling platform capability, which makes it perfect for crooked trees, just like the one we hung it in overlooking our food plot.
Big and Beastie is the #1 selling blend at Frigid Forage. This is one that we've had a lot of success with here. It's a blend of brassicas that you plant in the summer, and it produces a lot of forage through the fall and winter. So throughout the entire hunting season, there's a lot of forage that you can get in one food plot. It's a great source of nutrition for our deer, lots of forage, and a great place to hunt over with maximum attraction throughout the entire hunting season.
After filming the Big Ten, I continue scouting this vast expanse of timber where I think he's living. In late August, as we're scouting, I encounter a bachelor group of bucks on acorns in the timber. A few of these deer are the same bucks that were with the Big Ten in the summer, and I feel like we're closing in on him fast. From there, I move to another piece of public land where I'm hoping to locate a giant buck that we have some history with. We're back on the public land this afternoon. This year, I'm actually going to start naming my spots. Last week, we were over at our Big Woods unit where we spotted the bachelor group of bucks in there on the acorns. And this week, we're over at our creek bottom unit. I've also got the river spot where I killed my buck last year, and there's a few others that I'll take you through as we progress throughout the fall here. But this creek bottom unit is a spot that we've hunted for the last couple of years. Jared Keeson and Zach Krzyzewski hunted here last year, and there's a couple of big deer that we're after in this area. A couple of weeks ago, we were in here scouting, stumbled across a huge shed, and come to find out it's a buck that Zach and Jared had pictures of from last November. Really big deer, old, mature buck, and the more we got to looking at the shed in these trail camera pictures, the more the deer started to kind of look familiar to us. I've got him. Wait.
He was right at 35 yards, and I let it go, but I think I hit a limb. That sucks, but that's hunting.
And I went back looking at some of our old footage from recent years out here on the public land, and this is a buck that Eric Barber actually missed back in 2013 with me. And the intriguing thing here is the shed was found almost 3.5 miles away from where Eric missed that buck. Pretty cool deer. We know he's a roamer, obviously, so he's going to be hard to catch up with, but that's the #1 buck that we're looking for in this creek bottom unit. We're going to keep cruising down this creek here and looking for some more crossings. We're going to hang a few more cameras in this area, but we'll be back in this creek bottom unit here in a couple weeks to hang some stands and hopefully get a glimpse of the Barber buck this fall. During our summer scouting trips, we like to stay lightweight, and the Cabela's Whitetail fanny pack allows us to do this. Many times we're just packing in a trail camera, binoculars, wind checker, GPS, and maybe a compass. All that fits perfectly in the fanny pack and is a great choice for summer scouting trips. Hoyt bows are built to last. I've had the same Alpha Max now for 6 years, and it's my weapon of choice again this fall.
When I'm patterning a specific buck, my strategy involves 2 or 3 different parts. I go about this by putting bait in front of my trail cameras. In this case, the perfect camera would be the Muddy ProCam 10. It has a slightly slower trigger time and doesn't have the field scan features that I use for later stages of my patterning, but it does everything I need and is very affordable for this first part where I need as many cameras out, covering as many areas as I possibly can. A lot of bow hunters now use string knocking loops, and that's where the rhino and the silver horn in the Scott line really excel. The hook on these releases is open and it's easy to snag the loop. You don't have to look down. You feel like you're totally in control even when things are moving fast during the moment of truth. With our preparation firmly underway, it is nice to hear from our friends in Kansas that they are also on some great bucks. Out of the Kansas camp, Matt Tatum and his wife Sheila are the first to narrow their search to a specific buck, a 6-year-old that is moving in daylight. Sheila has the early muzzleloader tag that will kick off their season.
Well, it's September 19th. I've got my wife out here on a muzzleloader hunt. We're hunting the edge of a bean field that's just starting to turn, but there's still bucks coming out here right at last light. A cold front just pushed in yesterday evening and dropped temperature about 15 degrees, so the bucks really should be on their feet tonight, and hopefully we'll get some on the ground tonight.
On the same day, September 19th, Mike Reed kicks off his season in the eastern Iowa urban zone.
The main deer we're in here after tonight is Mr. Funk, and it seems like every year he's the first one to freshen up this rub. I get pictures of him over it every single year, so we're in here after him tonight. Hopefully we can catch up with him. Saturday, September 19th, opening day of the urban hunt. The point is to control the deer population, so the goal is to shoot as many does as possible. In the past, this is, well, even still is, earn a buck tag. I shot 8 does last year, which earned me this buck tag. This is the first year that we can start the season with a buck tag. Once October 1st rolls around, we get back to our farms outside of town. You know, we're going to be focusing a lot on my new farm that I just purchased. Got a lot of really good bucks out there. Really excited to bring you guys those hunts as well. This year, my primary target is a deer that call that buck Mr. Funky. So when I first got him, he was pretty lopsided. Now he's just a nice, mature 7.5-year-old heavy 9-point. Last time I saw him was opening day of last year, and I'm hoping he can repeat that. So I'm really excited to be in the tree, and we'll see what happens. First deer of the year. She made that a little easy on us. Hard shot her, she ran out to 40 yards and fell over in the field. Pretty excited. First kill of the year.
Trophy rocks are good for deer and create the perfect place to get summer trail camera photos. I like to place mine on stones or on stumps, which keeps it from sitting in a pool of water and extends the life of the trophy rock. The Ozonics unit goes with me everywhere that I hunt now, whether it's in the blind or in the tree. And to make things more convenient, Ozonics makes a mounting bracket that allows you to snap the unit into place quickly. Does are often warier than bucks, and having one at 5 yards will surely test your concealment, especially when there are 2 people in the tree. Mike and Jared got away with a lot of movement, and we're thankful for the effectiveness of their Realtree camo. I love the Fuse Ultra Rest because it keeps the arrow centered and in position for the shot regardless of how much I move or what the shot angle is. I know when I draw my bow back, the arrow is going to be in the right spot. Also, because it's a drop-away rest, when I release the string, the rest gets out of the way and I get perfect arrow flight. The cold front that would sweep into Mike's Iowa hunting grounds has already settled into southern Kansas.
Get your gun. That's a shooter. You want to shoot him? No, he's a mature deer. Get your gun. He's kind of cornered to it. Yeah, go ahead and shoot him right there. See that crease? Yeah. Right there, behind the crease. Mid body. Shoot him whenever you want to.
I shot him. He's dead.
Good job, thank you.
Thanks for taking me.
No problem.
Let's just go get him.
Hold on, we have to give him a little bit of time here. Hold on.
He's dead.
I know he's dead. It's a good shot. I think it was a good shot.
I think it was too.
It worked out just perfect. Actually, they came out really earlier than I was planning on. I mean, it's like 6:45, and that was one of the 4 bucks that we were after. That's a buck I call 8-ball. He was actually running with the buck I shot last year. Just an awesome buck and an awesome hunt. So I'm so happy for you. You have anything to say? No, just excited.
Go get him.
You just want to go get him.
Well, it worked out perfect tonight. He came out actually into the bean field a lot quicker than I thought, and she put a good shot on him, and he didn't go maybe 20 yards. And he's a buck we call 8-ball, and just an awesome deal. And like I said, I think he's probably at least 6.5 years old. But it was an awesome night and a great hunt, and I'm so proud of her.
As Mike's first evening comes to a close, Mr. Funky is a no-show.
Well, we've got her back to the truck here, all cleaned up. It's a good first hunt of the year. For the next couple of weeks, we're going to be just focusing on harvesting does here in town, and if I get the right weather or daylight pictures showing one of my mature bucks moving, we're going to move in on them.
With Mike's season firmly underway in the urban zone and Aaron in full search for the barber buck, my own quest for Big Junior is just getting started.
I'm spending a lot of time on this food plot to make it as good as I can, and there's a reason for that. This is what I believe to be the middle of the core area for that buck Big Junior. This is my starting point, and I'm going to have cameras here and in every realistic open spot within probably about a quarter of a mile circle. And I want to have the best possible picture that I can in September and early October of where this Big Junior is living at. I think we can kill that deer. He's a beautiful big 10-pointer. He's 6 years old. He's hitting that age now where a lot of times they tend to become more visible and their ranges, tend to become smaller. So we'll see. We'll see if that holds true with Big Junior.
As the bucks begin settling into their fall ranges, we have a short window of time in which to learn everything we can about the bucks we are hunting and put together a plan that will take us through the season.